Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our daily market SITREP or situation report here at Top Gun Options. First thing you need to do is head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. That stands for full throttle. We are getting ready to kick off day 2 of our full week of live trading and training here at Top Gun Options with a 1 o'clock primary live trade brief. We're going to be taking a look at getting short on Facebook or Twitter. We're going to take a look at our volatility, our short volatility trade that we placed yesterday. That is already up $450. Action-packed week ahead. Folks, if you already registered on this page for full throttle, no worries. We got your 6 covered. 1 hour at approximately noon Eastern. Before the webinar, you're going to get an email in your inbox. But if you haven't registered yet, don't worry, there's still time. All we did was knock out our welcome aboard brief last night. So what you need to do is head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Again, that stands for full throttle replay. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This is where the replays from every session that we do this week are going to be posted. So just scroll down a little bit and watch the full throttle welcome aboard brief. And this is actually going to be a little bit of an older one because I think God was along Facebook. And last night, as I was bad-mouthing Facebook, we had a massive lightning strike. Took out the power to the webinar, and I had to jump back on. So the webinar was busted up into 2. But the welcome aboard brief previously that is on this page is that it's copy-paste, folks. It goes through our methodology, our strategic, operational, tactical mindset, and our trade plan. So make sure you watch the replay if you get a chance before our primary live trade brief, and it's going to be a good time. The rest of the week's flight schedule is on here. Again, folks, 80% of our members work, so if you can't attend this full week of live trading and training, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be on the replay page. And when you become a member here at Top Gun Options, we send out text alerts, so you can be sitting in Mr. Smith's death by meeting in the boardroom. Your cell phone's going to get a text alert whenever we look at potentially opening a new position, adjusting it, or closing it. Okay, 80% of our members work. They usually watch the replays or they get the text alerts. And I'll tell you what, just for registering for free, I'm going to throw in a 7-step trade plan, our proprietary trade plan that's worth $55, and also our OPCL. That's our options pocket checklist. So one more time, folks, and then we'll get into our brief. Go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Really interesting news conference yesterday with the president. I think that is something I said almost every day on these briefs. Really interesting news. So the president yesterday, I know he shocked some of his advisors when he said when the Italian, not close enough, prime minister was standing there. He said, hey, I'll meet with the head of Iran. I'll meet anybody, anywhere, anytime if you want to talk. What's the problem with talking? Pretty sure as a candidate a couple years ago, the president elect or the candidate Trump gave Obama a ration of crap for saying that he'd sit down with Rouhani. A little weird how once you get in office, it changes the view. But of course, today the Iranians said you can kiss our ass. Folks, why am I bringing this up? What the hell does this have to do with trading? Everything. If you remember, about 2-3 months ago, the president, we were live trading during that session. We got long Raytheon as the president started talking about getting out of the nuclear deal, and we made $2,300 in 17 minutes. Why? The president, it more or less sounded like a declaration of war. If you didn't watch that press conference, please watch a clip of it. It was it wasn't even a press conference. It was the president's statement on him leaving, or us leaving, the Iranian nuke deal. Why am I rumbling on about this? Folks, in a couple months, those sanctions that the Obamas lifted and flew $150 billion in unmarked airplanes in the middle of the night to the Mullis, are going back into effect in November. That's going to hit oil in the region. China, our good buddy China, has already said, hey, man, you put those sanctions back into effect, not only are we going to keep getting oil from Iran, we're going to get more. The fall is going to be very, very, very volatile. And other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Obviously, we currently have a huge trade war going on with China that's getting worse. The futures were initially down, folks, but what happened? Well, the futures mysteriously turned around when what? It was Bloomberg reported this morning that Steve Mnuchin is secretly, I don't guess it's secret anymore, trying to restart negotiations with the Chinese. Folks, that ain't good. It's not good when Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, I briefed you on this, or my members 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, man, remember all these rip-your-face-off rallies and implosions and rallies on trade war fears? We're actually in one. Right? Remember Larry Kudlow from CNBC? He was brought in by Trump to kind of be the market whisperer, right? I remember one day somewhere in here in this red where Larry Kudlow literally came out on the White House lawn like twice in one day saying, hey, everybody relax. The grown-ups are going to talk. We ain't going to have a trade war. Here we are 2, 3, 4 months later. We're in the middle of a hot trade war, and I don't see it getting any better. So if the market's rallying a little bit, getting off the mat a little bit after the past couple days sell-off, be very, very careful about that. The adults are still not in a room technically, and we're still firing back and forth at each other with all this stuff. Last week, the president said, hey, tariffs are the greatest. Not that bullish of a statement to hear from your president. Most economists substitute the word tariff and put what in there? Tax. And if business ain't charities, folks, they're going to pass that on to who? Yours truly and yours truly, which might really start to hurt earnings and impact our economy. So the fall is going to get pretty volatile here, folks. Buckle your seatbelts for 100 days of political drama before what? We got the midterms coming up. And what did the president say the other day? I don't mind shutting the government down over getting my border wall funded. Whoa. Remember this time last year, folks, he said, I'm shutting it down. I want my wall. He buckled. His base ripped him to shreds. He said, and after he buckled, he said, I ain't doing that again, Democrats. You don't fund this wall, I'm going to shut it down. Again, why am I rambling about politics? Folks, if you don't get long volatility going into this potential government shutdown and then close that trade and get bearish on volatility when, of course, the government reopens, you don't know how to trade, and you need to be here at Top Gun Options. We're going to talk about that today. We put on a bearish spread on volatility rate that's already up, $450 from yesterday. We did a weekly options brief. As the market was selling off, I actually got bearish on volatility. Why the hell would you do that? Because of my strategic mindset. And you're going to learn all about that today and the rest of the week. So make sure you head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Okay. I'm listening to financial media this morning, getting my coffee. Oh, the people might be stepping. Do not buy any of these social media once high flyers. Twitter's over with, folks. If Elon Musk and Donald Trump go to lunch and decide to start their own Twitter, it goes out of business, folks. That's the only entertainment on that platform. Facebook is in absolute trouble. There is no bottom in Facebook. And check out what did I see in Apple today? There was some, Apple, of course. I briefed my members on this 2 years ago, and then this was news. About a year later? Apple slows down their phones, folks, so you have to go upgrade and get a new one. And Apple, it was a complaint by China. China saying something like, hey, they're not doing a good enough job putting monitoring software on the phones they built. Here it is. Apple comes under media fire for China amid rising trade tensions because the Chinese government is saying Apple isn't doing enough to block texts and images trafficking in prohibited content, including pornography, gambling, and counterfeit goods. So let me get this straight. This is another reason why I can't stand Apple, and I call it a limousine liberal stock. Everybody remember the San Bernardino terrorist attacks a couple years ago? Remember the FBI going to Apple and say, hey, man, we got the guy's iPhone. Open this up. We want to see if there's going to be more attacks, more Americans getting killed, or just get some intel and find, if there's a cell or no, we're not going to do that. Privacy. My face almost melted off. But what the FBI do, they went to an Israeli firm who cracked open the phone, and we got into it. Tim Cook and his sweater-wearing, Chardonnay drinking, sitting in front of a fireplace, limousine liberals from the Bay Area sat there and said, no, privacy. So let me get this straight. You're going to use 10-year-old child labor in China to build your phones, put a boatload of software on there to monitor the citizens of China, but you ain't going to help your fellow Americans out? You can kiss my ass, Tim Cook. Couldn't be happier that your stock imploded, and that's just bad, folks. This is absolutely bad. Same thing with Facebook. Months ago, before Jeffrey Gundlach, and I was called crazy for this call. I was crazy for predicting Trump would win and the market would rally. I was crazy for predicting Facebook, Twitter, and these FANGs would implode. I am laughing now, and so are my TGO members, folks. We've had an absolute blast. Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, one of my financial former loves that I might be falling in love with again, gave the president a little bit of a pat on the head yesterday in a good interview. Dimon says Trump's tax cut and deregulation have accelerated growth. That looks pretty good. So as I said, the stocks are catching a little bit of a bid here on maybe a rumor that we might restart talks. So folks, this should be the shocking part of this headline is we have to restart talks? Thought they were going on. Well, if you get your intelligence here and you come to my daily live trade briefs, you know that 3 weeks ago, Steve Mnuchin said, no, we're not even talking. That was back here, guys. This was back here when the market was going up. That's when I said, hey, we got to hedge. Remember, one of my wizisms, so to speak, you're going to learn here at Top Gun Options when you become a member or you listen to my daily briefs is the market only cares when it cares. Now, I know you're sitting there going, well, that sounds like a blinding piece of brilliance, but it's the think about it. The market didn't care about Facebook being, folks, I told you there was a couple roaches in the Facebook kitchen back in the fall. And I said, when you see one roach in the kitchen, that ain't just Steve. He's got his family, his extended family. He's an anchor roach, so to speak, folks, just like Jeffrey Gundlach said. And I also said, hey, when Uncle Sam decides to poke around your business, there's either no regulation or nothing bad found, or everything's awful. So, folks, it's about to get really, really interesting. Yeah, stocks are moving a little bit higher right now on quote to tech sector. Do not believe this dead cat bounce. There is not a bottom in Facebook. There is not a bottom in Twitter. Who wants to step in right now? If you did, you're guessing. We don't guess here at Top Gun Options. We use our thinking brains, folks. The only trading material you need is the gray material, 7 inches, 2 inches for my Marine buddies, of the gray matter between your ears. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a dead cat bounce, and this thing's going lower. And we're going to talk about that at 1 o'clock today. Biggest thing on the radar for the rest of the week, obviously, is on Friday, the non-farm payroll. We're looking, last time we got a solid 213. We're looking ballpark-ish around 200, 193, and the unemployment rate to tick down, back down again, underneath 4, down to 3.9. This, I care about that. I care about that. This is the number that I care about. This is the number that the market's going to react to, which is average hourly earnings. Okay. Yeah, we might be making more jobs. Are people making more money? This is going to be the big one. And like I said, today at 1 o'clock, I'm going to brief you on all this stuff. So please do me a favor and stop by and check out what we do here at Top Gun Options because we're having an absolute blast. Okay. Finally, one more time, what do you have to do to attend a free, this is all free, this is on me. The best way to see what a training firm does is to open the damn doors to the squadron, man. I can't stand these, hey, let's go to a marketing webinar for an hour and on hope I'm going to trust you and pay you a bunch of money. Good luck with those places, folks. I opened the doors to my squadron. You're going to be in there today and the rest of the week with my current members. And they're actually you'll be able to interact and talk with them and because men lie, numbers don't. We're going to take a look at our trades. We're going to take a look at, like I said, our bearish trade on volatility we put on yesterday. We got, was it 13 cents for this? It was at 10 cents a couple minutes ago. What's that? $450 gain in a day on this bearish trade on volatility. As I told everybody yesterday in our weekly options brief, I said this ain't the big one. Okay, this ain't the Fred Sanford. I call this the Golden Arches rally. Look at this. There's an M, bounce off the 200, 50, bounce off the 50, up. What do you think? We're just going to keep going up? Of course not. Everything I just briefed you on means a lot of uncertainty and an increase in volatility. But at least for this week, tactically, I am short volatility. And if the VXX stays below 33 by Friday, I'm going to make $2,000. $2,000 in a week on limited risk. Okay, this pays for an annual membership into what we do here at Top Gun Options, potentially just one trade this week. Okay, so it's free, don't cost nothing. As a matter of fact, you get paid a $45 value and a $55 value. Last time I checked, you're making money by doing that. Okay, so I'll see you at 1 o'clock this afternoon, or I'll see you on the replay. Make sure you head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Thank you. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. I'll see you at 1 o'clock, or I'll see you on the replay.